So I'm very happy to welcome all of you into Co-Creator Circles discussion. We have these discussions once a month because I feel it's so important, just like Taveta has just now shared, that everyone in this circle, because I know you all, is on paths of awakening self and people around us. And actually, that is what is happening in the world. All of us are co creators. We are co creating a world. And so many of us have got the sense of co creating a world that benefits all beings, not feeling that some should be happier than others. Just a little while earlier, Sammy had shared how they are doing testing of products, not on animals the way it has been done in the past, but by doing computer modeling. We're very blessed that we have technology with us in today's world. Because of that, we can do so many things in non-violent ways. And Kiva, you were mentioning also what you are doing. I know all of you are doing so many wonderful things, and I would like this to be shared. So, what I thought we'll do is that we'll have one round we'll have several rounds of discussion. Each of us will be sharing something. In the middle of it, Tavita will take us into a resonance space. So, not now, but a little bit later. And then we'll have another sharing. Okay, so we'll start with a question. So the first thing that I'd like to ask everyone and have everyone maybe talk for 1 to 3 minutes about is that for you, what is oneness? Okay, so can we start with we can do this in alphabetical order, so then it's easier for everyone to go through. So I think that makes Julie the first to. Can you continue?
Sure. Yeah, so for me, oneness is just the communion with God. And when I say God, I just mean universal source creation. We hear a lot about the world is duality, right? And there's so many different examples of that through the world, and that's not the truth. And so, to me, oneness is the only truth, and oneness is foundation is in love, which is the single truth. So there's really, to me, oneness is one truth, which is love, and sharing that with everyone creates on every level cooperation, communion, just a sense of that non-duality, that there is no separation, that any separation that we see is an illusion. And we come to that love and that oneness within ourselves first, and we create that within our own inner space, so that then we're able to go out into the world and be an example of it. And as we experience more love within us, it grows stronger within our immediate environment and then out towards the rest of the world. And so I think people just aren't aware that they have that ability within them. They're too caught up in the illusion of the dualities. And so I think for me, what I want to do is create the awareness.
Thank you. Kiva?
My experience with oneness is in two different ways. One is kind of an other dimensional experience where I move myself and my awareness to a place of the void, but it's not empty. It's the place of full potentiality. So everything that could be is there, and it's possible for me to reach out to any of that, draw it together, and create anything I want from that. And the other part of the experience is very much centered in my beingness here on earth, where I look at it, I guess, a bit as some of our native elders do, as being physically connected to everything, so that if an elder on one continent wanted to contact an elder on another, they might hold a pebble in their hand and breathe their message into that and drop it into a stream, knowing that the waters would carry that message to wherever it needed to go. And in that way, I can see that by even sitting here in this chair, which is created from elements of the earth, and my feet being on a wooden floor in my house, I am still connected physically and in the air that I breathe to everything here on earth. And so I look at it both as a really kind of a universal oneness, but also very much as an earth-centered oneness, because I am choosing to be here on earth and active at this time.
That is so beautiful, Kiva. I'm feeling uh, some twin energies here. Marianne?
Well, back in 2012, when we all thought the world was going to end and change or whatever, in Vancouver, there was a group that were called Oneness. And I was attracted to them for many reasons. One was I really liked the people, and the gatherings really centered around music and dancing, and the feeling of not sort of the normal. This was beautiful music that wasn't the norm that you play out here on the radio, but this was centered on came from basically a belief in a place in India, which I ended up going to, called Oneness University. And I realized that this reflected in me something that had been a long-held belief, which was that we were all connected, like the Newtonian physics of separateness, the Darwinian belief in survival of the fittest, just was so wrong in my mind, and yet I hadn't really thought that through or articulated until I realized how this attraction to oneness reflected how I really feel we are, and where we belong, and our relationship to our planet, to each other, and to all of the beings that exist on the planet, and perhaps even to life outside of the planet. Was a much truer and a much better feeling of being alive, of a reason for being alive, and that oneness had its source in God, and we all have our source in God. And when we find that source in one another, it's such a joyful experience. So it was the felt sense of oneness that really became my guiding light. And that experience for me still remains to be the best, most supportive, giving, loving experience I can ever possibly imagine. So I seek it wherever I can. And I like to create it because I feel that all of us want to feel like we belong, that we are loved, that we love together, and that is such a healthy, wonderful way to be part of life. So yeah, I suppose the biggest descriptor of oneness is that felt experience of belonging, of being together, of coming from a source that assures us that we are loved.
As you're talking, I'm feeling as if I'm meditating. That's such a beautiful experience, Marianne. I think I'm next in the alphabetical order of our names, which are in this way so important for us. Since my childhood, I was always very connected with the earth, but in an unearthly way. I loved nature, and I was always in nature. I was always with the trees. And fast forward to 2009, when people had started hearing about 2012, Whereas in Taveta Circle in Singapore, where we had first met and we used to have our Wednesday meditations, we had already been made aware that 2012 is going to be, and well, I always call it 2012 in the old-fashioned way, was going to be an important year. For us, it was always going to be a year of awakening. So I was stunned when people started getting scared, then the world is going to come to an end. But in 2009, I was given a message by someone who came down from the Himalaya mountains, and he and 40 others around the world had been in a state of samadhi, the meditation, in which they were just connected with one another, never had met one another. So this is even beyond technology that we know, but was sending out, the way I describe it is, was sending out vibrations. They were like stabilizing the earth and raising its frequency. And he came and he just introduced himself as Eli. And he said that now at least 1,000 people in every time zone should just pray. And this is a wordless prayer, just in loving gratitude of Mother Earth. But the word pray scares people, especially when they thought that the world is coming to an end. And so I said, if we tell people your words, which are pray, 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 Gaia is calling you, it started getting people all agitated. And I was driving one day back from dropping off my daughter to school, and a message just came like that. And the message was of the Gaia Minute, which I think I've shared with some of you here. And it came as 9:09, the Gaia Minute. At 9:09 in the morning or evenings, send your highest vibration to Gaia, Mother Earth, and all beings sentient and insentient. And then it went on to say how it helps the world to stay in a state of healing and vibration. And for me, the important thing, and why I'm mentioning it here for oneness, is that I realized that oneness is not just with people, which I had thought till that time. And it was very difficult for me to actually connect with human beings. I had read once, I love humanity, but I hate human beings. And having had very difficult situations as children, as a child, I had very difficult situations with human beings. I really could not love all human beings. But when I see Gaia, and I think that even this beautiful glass from which I'm drinking water, and like you said, Kiva, everything that we are sitting on, and everything, all what we consider insentient, everything is a part of that oneness. And I started seeing the Gaia as a consciousness, and for me, that is what oneness began to feel. Of course, having been through many healing journeys with Taveta and other wonderful guides, I have lost that hatred of human beings, which I may have had um, through pain, because when pain leaves you, then love just floods in, which you all have also talked about. So for me, that has been oneness. The way I experience it is that as that feeling of Gaia or universal consciousness. And I think after me is Sammy.
So for me, oneness means that I am you and you are me. That the whole universe is in me, and also I'm part of the universe. So it means that, really there's no separation. That because I'm the entire universe and you are the entire universe, you are in me, I'm in you. The sad thing is that I see that the world in our history as humans, we've always been separated. If you think about it, back in caveman history, I picture that you had a small clan, and then the clan said that if you're in our clan, you belong, others don't belong. We can keep the food for ourselves. We can keep access to the water for ourselves. If somebody is not part of our clan, we can kill them. So And even today, when you look at kind of how we see the world, you know, we have country nations, you know, we have people with a flag. My flag means something important to me. And, you know, if you dare trample on that piece of cloth, you're asking me basically to fight. So, you know, even in modern history, that's the level of separation that we've had. You know, we have black, white, we have, you know, we find all kinds of reasons to separate things. We have hierarchy. And I believe that as part of what we call, you know, the conscious evolution, just like a gene, but it has to be a meme, we have to have a meme of oneness, you know, where we recognize, where we change our whole thinking, our whole way of being, you know, in terms of society, to essentially function as a true oneness that we are, you know, I mean, and I say, you know, so for me, you know, I've had the experience of being part of different culture, different level societies. I kind of see myself as a bridge, so to speak, you know, where I was born in Haiti, now I'm American, so I'm Haitian American. You know, I have people who are working minimum wages. I have family members who are in politics, who are serving as state congressmen. I have people who are in business. So I've been able to work different strata of society. You know, and I think, you know, for me, what I'd like to live is to live the meme of oneness, essentially not to see separation, but to be one. And I think that's what will take for us to create in that evolution of society, for us to essentially break those barriers and, you know, to pass that on to our child. Because, you know, when I was born, I wasn't really born Haitian. I wasn't born American. I realized I was born a human being. And when I was born, you know, if you told me that I was a Chinese, I would believe you. Or Indian, I couldn't care less. So that's what oneness is for me.
That is so beautiful. I love that, Sammy. Taveta, will you go next?
Yes. I came into the world and I didn't see it like others. I couldn't understand how the economics worked because it didn't seem right. The politicians didn't seem right. I'd look at the stars and say, well, of course, there have to be other beings or something beyond that. And and I always wanted to know eventually how and why we're here and how everything works together. And I started going back to the source, the creator, that light. I've had lots of epiphanies and one, you know, bent spoons with my mind and things like this. But the bottom line is a search as a being on the planet as to what's going on this planet. And so I think of us as beings of light. I think of myself, and I only consider myself a divine universal being of the cosmos, not even Mother Earth and Gaia. I am a divine being of the universe and the cosmos and the whole world. And what we see visible and invisible, I am all part of. And when I was going in to connect to source, because I believe we are healers, we can live long lives, we can heal instantly because we are connected to the source of creation, the God, the essence, each one of us. And one time when I went in, they showed me a hologram instantly of myself. And in the next second, it was a hologram of everyone's cell in me. You can't get more one than that. We are all one. We are all beings. There are different beings on the planet. And I think coming to an understanding that they are part of the universal divine cosmos and the whole, the creator. to understand that the dance on earth that we're going through is to achieve a greater opening of our oneness as human beings and our power and potential of joining the world as true creators. We are the creator on earth, so we are the one on earth, and everything that everybody said is just perfect. I mean, you've all said perfection. So there's nothing else to say except unity, conscious awareness. And unity is oneness, and everything that you do has a reaction. And you are eternally linked and part of the whole, for without boundaries, infinite and beyond eternal. So there we are.
Thank you, Taveta. And hello, Karen. We are talking about what we think is oneness. And to give you a little time to come into the conversation, because we've all spoken what we think is oneness. I'm going to ask everyone, do you have a name that you feel you go with in this world? Because so far we have all written our names on our birth or marriage certificates. Do you have another name, a spirit name, an internal name, a nickname that you feel is really you? Maybe more to do with how you feel your purpose is in this world. If everyone has, then let's write our name there. Whatever has come to you. It needn't be very spiritual, it can be any name that you feel you have um, identified with. Do you all have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does anyone not have sort of another name? And it's okay not to have another name. But I'm going to write my. So if you do, then can you change your name in the chat? Instead of showing that name, write another name.
Oh, in the chat.
Your spirit
Okay.
name. No, sorry, not in the chat. In literally change your name in your profile. So the name that had come to me a long time ago, and many people have got the same one. I think of myself as connector. So it needn't be a very spiritual name. I have other spiritual names, but that's the one I'm writing right now, if you can. Oh, I love that. Karen has written joy. Karen, can you come into the conversation and share? We're taking about 1 to 3 minutes about what you feel is oneness.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting topic because it's something I've really been working with, because a lot of times people see oneness as out there, and oneness is really oneness within yourself, your wholeness, and it's difficult it's difficult not to go into the oneness of everybody else and not at least start with the oneness in yourself, and then that oneness then becomes a connection with everything else, because we're not separate. And yet, if you're not all connected within yourself, you're not going to connect to everything else. So
Right.
it's an interesting challenge, because the first thing people think is it's out there and I'm one with everything, and they haven't even begun to connect with that wholeness that is themselves, which includes the spirit, includes the soul, includes your aura, your field, and your entire body. So I'm working with it.
That's beautiful. Taveta, you want to change your name also, or you want to keep it as it is?
I do have other names, and I have not spoken them out loud, but I am guided here to tell you I am Taveta, I am Zareen, and I am Ilkana. So it depends on where I am or who I meet as to who may know me by my names. Thank you.
Thank you. If you want, you can change it in your profile, but if you don't, that's okay also. Okay, so now we are going to go to the next round. And before that, I've requested Tavita if she can lead us in a short meditation, and then we'll have a discussion after that.
Okay, great. I think the last point shared is of prime importance because we have to connect to the divine within. So relax, close your eyes, and get absolutely, totally comfortable with yourself. You are going to align all the way back to the very core essence of your being. And as you do this, you will feel from the very center of your being a divine light moving out around your body. And through this, it permeates every cell of your body and activates into a new light frequency the mitochondria in each of your cells. You are touching the source with each of your cells within your body. You are taking this and expanding it out now, up through your high heart, up through your third eye, and all the way up through your crown, going all the way back to the higher divine essence. As you feel that expanding around you, you will see it coming in from your feet, all the way up into your body, linking down at the back of your spine, and relax your shoulders. You are the one. You are the true essence. You go deeper and deeper now within the core of your body, within the core of your divine mind as it expands with more and more purple light, white light, magenta light, golden light, and silver light flowing through your body, activating, enhancing, expanding, regenerating, re-energizing, renewing every cell, every molecule, every particle, every essence of your being. You are connecting deeper and deeper into the one source, which is pure light or pure black void. Either space, you are moving deeper to it, where instant thought manifests, where instant healing manifests. We point out to you that in each particle of light is the point of the black void, the dark. And as you move into the silence of the dark void, in the center of that is the point of pure white light. They are one and the same. Go deeper and deeper to your source, past the stars, past the cosmos. Everything that you do, wherever you go, is done from the very inside of your being, your divine mind. Feel this getting stronger and stronger. Relax into your perfect alignment. As you breathe through your skin, the breath that you are breathing in and out is that of pure light, pure energy, pure God consciousness. It is now interlinking into the earth as the breath of your being goes out and breathes in and out with Gaia, clearing the rivers, the streams, with this higher frequency that you carry, that you will walk on the plains with, that you will send out to the universe and the beings of light who are here to help us. It goes out into the invisible realms, the discarnate spirit, and enlightens all beings, opens all closed doors. It links with all light beings on the earth and strengthens the light into the higher frequencies now, into the 7th and 12th chakras, opening them up further and further beyond. There are just beingness of the one within you. And so it is. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. All healing, anything that needs healing, allow the wisdom of the flowers of essence around you to fold down their fragrance. Allow the sounds from the universe to flow into you. Allow the streams of the light force and the electromagnetic energy fields to balance within your body and your mind. As the frequencies on earth get stronger, your body and your frequencies manage it in perfect health and wholeness. The grace is your pure love. Beauty is your pure wisdom. Love with wisdom be your actions. And so they be, divine, universal, cosmic being that you are. Namaste. Breathe in and out. Open your eyes when you're ready and come back. Come back into the realm with your eyes open first. And we thank the divine beings for their presence. Thank you. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taveta. So we'll go now with the names that are showing. And it looks like mine is first. I'm going to ask a question and also share. So what I'd like all of us, if we can share now, is what do you feel we are co-creating in this world? There are many ways in which there is more of love in this world than there is of not love. There is actually only love. Where do we see this love and how do we see it manifesting? How do we see this co-creating a world that benefits all beings? And so what I'm sharing, what I'm seeing is that I was asked to stay in the frequency of Gaia consciousness, Taveta, because I used to be very otherworldly. And like I said, I was very much on with nature, but not on earth. And that is one of the reasons why a lot of pain can come into life, because when you're not on earth, in the earth frequency. But when I started growing in the way of Gaia, in a very related way to everyone and everything, at many levels, all the way from the germs within us to the beings in other worlds, I started seeing that everything is of light and love. I just started seeing this. I now, whenever I see something that seems distressing and disturbing to me, I see behind it, and I see how everything is really interconnecting in a way that I couldn't have seen unless I saw it with the eyes of love. So actually, in my world, I'm only seeing that there is actually only love. Just like behind me, how when I blur all the different things which you first could see as separate, and when I blur my vision, I actually see much more clearly than when it was seen. And after me is, I believe, joy.
Oh my.
It's probably Jal. It is first Jal, that is water, and that is you.
Ah. Oh.
So
I
Jal is going to speak first, right? Jal
oh
is,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Your mic is muted.
Okay. So yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I wrote in the chat, Jala is water in Sanskrit. And yeah, I just, for me, it's like the water means so many different things and represents so many different things. And I try and go with the flow of life now that I know better. But I think one of the things that rang with me, Meenakshi, when you said you didn't like human beings, and what I kind of referred to that version is human doings, right? We're so caught up in the doing of life that's what has created this illusion of separation and things like that, because we're doing to try and achieve what isn't reality. And so it's becoming human beings again. That is what I think is my purpose. And I just had the honor of leading some meditations at my work. It was Pharmacy Week. And so I'd asked my boss if that could be an offering that I did for the staff for Pharmacy Week. And so it was an optional thing. And it was beautiful to realize that so many people found it beneficial and it was brand new to them, whether they were in their 20s or in their, I had a guy in his 70s there, and they all were just like, wow, I need to do that more often. You know, just stopping, connecting with the body, connecting with the breath, connecting with what is in the actual moment was just, I mean, a wonderful experience. And it was a 15-minute session. We talked about what we were going to do, and then we just did 6-7 minutes of it. And so for me, like what I feel we're here for is to raise that awareness that we're supposed to be being. And one of my and we do it through love. One of my favorite quotes from the Tao Te Ching about water is, I'm kind of improvise, but nothing is more soft and giving than water. But over time, it has the ability to carve canyon into rock, right? And so it doesn't have to be a force. It can just be the flow, but the consistent flow and the giving flow with no expectation. No, you don't know where it's going to go, but it's strong, and there's strength and softness. And so I think that's what we're here for, is that we can create a movement using love as our force. I'm complete.
Thank you. And just to interject a little, Tavita, really the meditation was so amazing. All my cells are just tingling. Joy is next.
Okay, what is the question that we're doing?
How do you feel that in this world, where do you see joy in this world? Why not you share that?
I think being more of who I really am, and moving with that, going with my guidance, and being able to. It's really kind of a thrill when I'm in a space where things come together, and I'm moving from irritation to a place of connecting and being helpful, and being guided to take people from their chaos into more joy and more flow. And so it's exciting being there for people, and seeing them grow, and for myself to connect to that guidance and that deeper self, and to connect with all of you that like with Taveta, taking us into those wonderful experiences. And then on Thursday with Juliet talking about looking at the potential of dying, and realizing that she can be a healer now and on the other side. And that's what she's working towards, and that there is no separation. And so it's very cool to have your mind blowing and taken to this places that you know already, and mind blowing at the same time. So it's fun.
Kiva, do you want to be as Kiva thought or as thought?
Just make it simple. Just
Why
Kiva
don't
is
you go?
fine.
Why don't you go next?
Sure. So the question is, where do we feel joy?
So the question was that where do you feel that in this world where do you see the forces of co-creation, which are for all beings, which are working for all beings, for the benefit of all?
I'm seeing it in a larger organizational sense than I have ever before. So with humanity's team and its efforts to push over the next 20 years the involvement of the earth and humanity, with another group that I'm working with now, Otto Scharmer's Presencing Institute, looking at trying to achieve sustainable development goals within the next 10 years. And other groups as well are looking at a fairly short time frame of trying to really completely change what we see of the earth. And a lot of that is about building the networks of people and deepening the relationships between those people that then work with each other in various ways to create newness and more grace and more love in the world.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful.
That's yes. Mara, you're next, and then Sammy.
This word, this name, Mara, came to me many, many years ago when I was quite a lot younger. And just sort of out of the blue, I think somebody asked me, what's your real name? And that's what popped up. And it felt right. And it wasn't till quite a long time after that I learned the true meaning of the word Mara, which is illusion. And I thought that really fits, because for most of my life, if not all of my life, I've been in a role of some sort that was, sometimes it was a good fit, sometimes it wasn't a good fit at all. But I think I was trying to live up to the expectations of others while I was in that role. And in some ways denying who I was, or probably more truthfully, not knowing who I really was. And so the lifetime journey has been a journey of learning who I am. And in the course of all of that, I've taken on all of these various roles, and some of them have had a lot of meaning for me, some of them not so much. And but at this point in life, I can see that Mara is still still a name that denotes what you see when you see me. Is you only see a very tiny part of who I am. And I'm still learning, so I only see a tiny part of who I am. So the Mara is just sort of this physical illusion of a person, but it's not the summing up or the wholeness or the whatever of who the person is. And I apply this to myself, and I apply it to people around me, because we only ever know a small part of one another. And sadly, you know, the best part, sometimes we never know, which is why the journey to really know ourselves and become ourselves in a very truthful way helps other people do the same thing. And so I think that's been my journey, is to sort of move with the illusion, but move past the illusion into the truth.
That's beautiful, Mara. Sammy.
So, you know, and the question is, where do we see the forces of love, right, happening, the co-creation? I think, you know, what I see is that we are truly in a flat world, not in the sense that the world is flat, but because of technology, connectivity. So we have a sort of the Facebook generation. And what's happening with the Facebook generation is that I think for the first time, probably in human history, we are starting to see kind of generation not so much focused on survival, because for the whole part of Earth, I think, you know, we've been focusing on, you know, looking for food, and, you know, basically we've been living to earn a living as opposed to living to live life. I think this next generation, you know, they don't want to kind of work, you know, 60 hours a week like their parents. You know, they also want to live. And what we're seeing, because the world, you know, and I think now because we're in a flat world, and I can say because I'm connected to many cultures, I think it's also happening in other cultures, not just in America, where people complain about the generation that, you know, basically they don't want to stay after 5 o'clock, you know, they want to go hiking, they want to do other things. You know, we have that same mentality. And I think this is important because, you know, if we just stay as human beings, you know, activity junkies, where we do stuff, where we're always accumulating, working to accumulate, and instead of living, it's not going to get us to find our meaning, to find out who we are. And, you know, I think, you know, we're starting to see, you know, that change happening.
Awesome.
Beautiful. I love everything you said. Taveta.
I think following on from that, everything is depending on where you are looking, or depending on how you are feeling, or where you are coming from, or the topic, depends on how you answer questions. But for me, I am very much in this world. It is one with everything. It is, you asked the question about love. What is happening on the earth is love. Because when you see it on all parts of what's going on. They are providing opportunities for the human species to grow more consciously aware of the light in each being, to share more, to go out in nature more, to let go of things, still have things, but to let them go. And everything that's been done, we can turn around and say, oh, this is the part, I can see it. Thank you for giving me XYZ. So as Meenakshi says, everything is love. There are different levels of love within each person, within the balance. The universe just exists and is a point of pure consciousness. And out of that, you create. And it provides the opportunity of pure love to bring to you, with your consciousness open, awareness that the earth is alive. You are on Mother Earth and we are love. And when we go into that love, the consciousness expands. That point of pure light, the oneness, expands. So I can't really answer that question except seeing it all as love is beautiful and perfect, and everything evolves, and what you give out, you get back. So the more that you're aware of giving out love and sharing for the human species. And love also means setting boundaries. And it doesn't matter whether you're on Gaia or whether you're in a relationship. Love is boundaries. Love is respect and honor. Love is standing up and being strong and having boundaries, but being open and communicating your feelings honestly and being able to analyze no matter what happens, to say, I forgive myself. I've learned a new lesson. I've gained a new insight. And to really love yourself so deeply, you are loving the divine consciousness within. And that's unity, that's everything, that's one. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I was thinking of oneness and how do we actually experience it? So here we are in a group, and I love that. I think, Sammy, you were saying different cultures, different colors, and we all have different skin color, hair color. Well, the hair color keeps changing. So many things in which we are. There's such a variety. When people think of oneness, there is and some people get distressed by the word because they feel that oneness means sameness, and there is no. And we all love color. We love variety. And so for me, it's always the analogy that always works for me is looking at just your human body. Like you were saying, see it in yourself, yeah, like you were saying, Joy. I'm going to call you Joy, Karen. And that is that the right eye can think she's very different from my left thumb, but it is something of me that is connecting them, and that is oneness. We don't have to be exactly the same. Each of us actually have different things, and all of us have been sharing the different ways in which we have done, in which we are working for this world. That part was not recorded, so I would just like maybe one sentence, if all of us could say, what are we doing for bringing about universal consciousness of oneness in the world? Okay, so since again I called myself connector, this is what I'm doing. What I'm doing to bring about this connection in the world, or oneness in the world, is through connecting different people from different places, different things that they are doing, but all with the same focus and goal. And that is the focus and goal of co creation. And after me comes Jal.
For me, I am living as an example of when you find that peace and love within yourself and create an inner environment that you can then affect your outer environment.
Just pass it
Yeah.
on.
I'm trying to do the same thing. Thank you. That's well put. That's one piece. And also, whenever I work with someone, I am, as a patient, I am, I always call in my guides, my support. And I am helping them connect with their deeper self and helping them be aware that they don't just have to use the brain, that there is their higher self, their soul, that part of them that is more than who they think they are. And so kind of introducing that to them in a way that's comfortable and beneficial. And respecting where people are coming from as much as possible, trying to really understand things that I don't always understand from where people come from, and just try to love them for that as much as possible without getting upset. Trying to let the upset go, letting that kind of move through me and beyond me. So, yeah. And who's next? Kiva, yeah.
Yeah, for what I'm doing right now, I'm feeling that my greatest gift in this and helping to co-create is being a connector, a support to other people, helping network people together, helping with my organizational skills to provide support for people, to be the hub in lots of spokes going outward that are starting to connect people. And in order to do that, to be that person that magnetizes all of these things together that can then connect with each other in different ways, I have to let the highest potential of who I am flow constantly through who I am.
It's you now, Mara. Marian.
So the what am I doing part is really took me back into the word Mara, because what I'm doing is an internal kind of journey in which all particularly emotional life that is coming up very strongly right now and showing itself in emotions that I have in the past suppressed or buried or not acknowledged fully. And now I realize they have a lot to teach me. So I'm really welcoming the opportunity to understand what that emotion is representing in my inner life and not running from it. And it's a real teaching experience, both for a teaching and learning experience, because I'm learning a lot about myself and I'm learning how to show up authentically with other people without allowing the more destructive emotions to be to prevent myself from showing love to others. So how to be honest, how to find my own truth, how to speak for myself in the wisdom of that emotion, but without subsuming life around me and how to keep a sense of humor. And I find that the more that I can speak from a truthful place within myself, the richer my life is with others. And I really welcome that, because that's giving me a depth and a meaning to life that has, it's a new way of being with people, really. You know, I mean, it's as though the life of manners and of you know, keeping oneself somewhat separate has given way to really being with others in a more truthful way, simply because I'm accepting more parts of myself, and in doing so, accepting others in a fuller way. So yeah, I hope that makes some sense to somebody.
It's a very beautiful, real way of explaining what you're doing. Thank you.
It
Thank
does.
you,
It's beautiful.
Sammy.
So for me, it is to be one with everyone. And concretely, it means that when I'm interacting with someone, with people, I want to be a mirror that reflects back to them their best and higher self, because their best and higher self is hidden in me. And I want to reflect that back to them.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Living each day aligned to my higher self so that I listen and I'm guided with grace and beauty and live with joy as I connect other people, as I do my work in spirit, as I communicate with others on everything that I do, in the expanding and awakening process of just love and light for the world. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I'm thinking, because we have these meetings in once a month, and of course, Taveta has her meditations every Sunday. We have different things that we do in Co-Creator Circle, but these once a month meetings, I really find them very enriching, because everyone comes in their co-creator consciousness. There isn't any teaching or guiding. It's everyone's sharing what they're doing. I'm also feeling that we need to have some sort of uh, something that we should do, maybe a project, maybe something we need to do. I would love you all to be involved each month if you can, and think about it. If I could make an email group of all of us, and if you could give your thoughts about what you feel we can do, because I know we are doing a lot by being, right, Jal? We are human beings, but in this world, the action is also important, and I would love to know if you think, Kiva, maybe if we can add to something that you're doing, or if we can do something together also, or if you have thoughts about what Co-Creator Circle can also do. I would love that. So is it okay if we do that? If we share, if I form an email group of us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
also wanted to express my gratitude to Taveta for that beautiful meditation. I absolutely loved it. So thank you.
If you can do, come on Sundays. Those, they are a little longer and they're just amazing. I call them
Okay.
activations. They are not just meditations.
What time on Sundays?
It's at 10 EDT, so 1 hour before what we met today.
Okay. Is it the same link or a different one?
No, I'll send you the link.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all so much.
Thank
It's been
you.
very, very
Have a wonderful
amazing and
day.
wonderful.
Thank you. Nice to meet everybody. Have a great week.
Yes, you too.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Meenakshi.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Meenakshi.
everyone who will be
Thank you,
joining us
everyone.
later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.